What's going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here. If you're new to the channel, I make daily Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail or title of this video, Terry Rozier shows out against the Milwaukee Bucks on the road. I think it's the first game of the road trip, and the Charlotte Hornets win 138-109, and they hold Giannis Antetokounmpo to 9 points in 22 minutes. Giannis had a plus minus of -21, so that shows you the type of defense that the Charlotte Hornets were playing. And it's actually kind of very similar to as good as the Charlotte Hornets. I don't want to take anything from the Charlotte Hornets away. In fact, I'm about to give them praise, but as good as the Milwaukee Bucks are, they surround around Giannis. And one thing that I feel like the Hornets have been pretty decent at this year is stopping the main guy. Now, the problem is they let the number 2 guy go off. They let the number 3 guy go off. They let the number 4 guy go off. That is where their defense really lacks. I think so far this year, they've done a really decent job of actually stopping the main guy, unless it was a center. Centers always just go crazy against us. But if it's like a guard or a wing or something, I think the Charlotte Hornets usually do a decent job of just making sure they don't go just ballistic. And this is unprecedented from the Charlotte Hornets, holding Giannis to 9 points. He was 2 for 7 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3. They did definitely foul him a lot. They were like, hey, we'd rather just send you to the foul line, and it worked. And then it also helps that the Milwaukee Bucks, they're just, like I said, they're very Giannis-based. So guys like Jrue Holiday, I mean, he only played 19 minutes in this game, and he only had 12 points. So it's just, when you look at the box score and you see, or even when you watch the game, they took their main guys out. Now, Jrue Holiday really had a good game. He just only played 19 minutes because Coach Budenholzer saw the writing on the wall. So a lot of the bench guys got to play a lot of minutes. But still, I think the Charlotte Hornets did a really good job. I was very worried at halftime. Terry Rozier, I think, went into halftime with 25 points. So I definitely thought he was going for like 45, and he only getting 39. We can talk about that later. But I was worried going into halftime just because of the fact that the Hornets are really good at letting people, as good as they are cutting, as good as the Charlotte Hornets are cutting into the lead, they're also just as good, or bad, maybe that's how you want to put it, at letting people back into the game. So I was very worried at halftime. I thought Giannis was going to turn on another notch, but no, the defensive pressure kept persisting, and the Charlotte Hornets looked amazing. I mean, it was mainly 2 guys, but everybody, I feel like, did their thing. So LaMelo had a really good game. He really struggled inside the arc. That is like my gripe about LaMelo Ball. It's something that he can work on. He's young. I'm not saying he'll never do it, but it's something that I really would like to see him do, just because the way he plays, his height, his speed, the way he knows the game, the way he's able to pass if people like sag off on the person they're defending and try to guard him in the paint. I think that if he can learn to just, even in mid-range, he doesn't have to really attack the basket all the time if that's just what he can't do. But at least he needs to develop some type of mid-range, and that will really open up his game, just because he is the floor general that we know and love. So I think that him being able to operate in the mid-range would definitely just help the team overall. But hey, I'm not mad at 7 for 13 from 3 either. I'm just saying that's something he needs to work on. Also, the Milwaukee Bucks are a tough team to even have the score again. So it's not like an end-all be-all, but that's just something I've seen this year that I would like for him to get better at. I mean, and he's not the only one that needs to get better at something. I'm just saying, you're the star. So therefore, I'm a little harder on you, even though you're my favorite player. But Terry Rozier, let's talk about Terry Rozier. Now, while he was 6 for 15 from 3, taking some crazy Terry shots, I mean, still, he was 15 for 29 from the field, and that's kind of what I want from LaMelo Ball. Terry Rozier is actually a really good finisher. He's actually pretty good in the mid-range. At 39 points. I'm mad that Coach Steve Clifford pulled him out with 39, because Terry Rozier, I think he could have got a 40-piece if he hit these 2 free throws, and he missed one. He missed the first one and made the second one, and so therefore he got stuck at 39. Now, the reason it didn't make sense that he took out Terry at 39 is because LaMelo Ball was still in the game at the time. PJ Washington was still in the game at the time, so that was very strange. But it is what it is. Speaking of PJ Washington, he had a fantastic game with 23 points. Not much else, but hey, we know PJ Washington can defend. We know he's one of the better defenders, but he struggles to score, and we really need him to be that scorer. Even if it's just persistent past this season is over. But it's just going into the future, if they decide to keep him, he needs to score. 23 points is a good way to show that you can score. 5 for 10 from 3, good way you can show you can score. And 9 for 14 from the field overall, signs you could score. So we definitely need more of that from him. Jalen McDaniels doing Jalen McDaniels things, just doing a little bit of everything with 11 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. I love Jalen McDaniels. I love that he's able to switch between starter and on the bench so easily. I mentioned that in a video in the past, not about him specifically, but in general, how hard it is for players to do that switch so often. He does it often, and I think he excels at it. I think he's one of those guys. He's a true glue guy. Like, everybody can't be a glue guy. Some guys can't be superstars. Some guys can't be glue guys. Just because you're a superstar doesn't mean you can be a glue guy, and vice versa, of course. And he's just the definition of a glue guy, that no matter what situation you're going to put him in, he's going to provide for the team, and he did just that. Now, Mason Plumlee, like I said, one of the most consistent players on the team. I know I get mad at him because I feel like sometimes he makes sometimes he makes just bad decisions, but as of late, and I say as of late as in like the last month maybe, he's just been playing phenomenal basketball. 17 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. I really like Mason Plumlee. Not as a rim protector. I always got to say that because people are like, oh, he still can't protect the rim. Not as a rim protector, but like, he is really good for this team. It just doesn't help that they don't have a true center to look at. If he was our bench center, if you told me Mason Plumlee was playing this way and he's our bench center, I'm assuming we're one of the best teams in the league, depending on who the starting center is, because Mason Plumlee is just doing so much. His trade value is going to be high. Terry Rozier's trade value is going to be high. PJ Washington, he's been playing better, so his trade value is going to be high if these guys were to get traded. Now, for unusual suspects, one, I still don't like Cody Martin playing 22 minutes. He was good on defense, but he took some bad shots. He was doing like step backs. I think he took more step backs this game than he has his career, it felt like. But I'm not mad at it. He just came back. But I will say 22 minutes is still a lot. I mean, he did just come back, and it's not like I said, it's not like you're trying to save the season. So 22 minutes on a guy who had a weird just injury. I don't know if maybe it's because of the Hornets reporting. Maybe it wasn't as bad as it seemed, but just 22 minutes just seems a little excessive. Dennis Smith Jr., another guy, 20 minutes seems excessive, but he played very well. Both of them, they look so good on the defensive end. I love watching those guys play defense. They bring that defensive mentality to the team that the team desperately needs. So I hope these guys are with the team going forward. Mark Williams he didn't do bad, but he just didn't dominate, but that's okay. In 14 minutes, though, he had 4.6 rebounds and 1 assist and 1 steal. Not mad at it. Nick Richards only played 2 minutes. Bryce McGowan's only played 2 minutes. It seems like Nick Richards really falling out of the lineup. Consider Steve Clifford said he wanted to play both Mark Williams and Nick Richards to find those minutes. As of right now, it seems like he's unable to find those minutes for Nick Richards. Now, JT Thor, he was the star off the bench. He was 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3. He had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. But he looked pretty good on defense, and that's kind of what we're hoping from JT Thor. We know the type of the defender he is, but he looked pretty good on offense as well. So just seeing how he was able to have a game, because normally he has a game where he does one or the other. This game, he did a little bit of both, and I'm happy with his 17 minutes. That's going to put him back in the lineup, I feel like. And JT Thor is a guy who, if there's anyone I hope, it's like, oh, well, I'm not quite sure what he's going to be, what his NBA projection is. JT Thor is that guy for me. I'm not quite sure what he's going to be, but he's one of the guys I'm rooting for the most. I love JT Thor. I love just his raw ability. I feel like once he puts it together, I'm not saying he's going to be some superstar, but I definitely feel like he's just going to be a very valuable player in the NBA because he could do so much. I really like JT Thor, so I'm happy to see him have a game like this, especially just putting it on display. I know it wasn't like a primetime game. However, it was a game everybody was talking about last night because the Hornets dropped 51 in the first quarter, which was a franchise record, and I think it was tied for most ever at 51 points being most in one quarter. So shout out to the Hornets. They played really well today from beginning to end. Terry Rozier in his interviews mentioned how just important defense is and buying in on defense and how it led to offense. That's something good you wanted to hear because that's true. That happens so often where defense leads to offense and his team trying to be like strictly offense. So it's good to see that they're acknowledging how defense can really help them be a better offensive team. And when everybody's hitting, they're hitting. Now, you don't expect this every night, but hey, I'm not mad at it whatsoever. If that's what it takes to get a win. Like I said, I don't care if they win. I just want them to play hard. That's kind of my thing. I just want to see this team grind and play hard, and they did exactly that today. So shout out to the Charlotte Hornets. Shout out to Steve Clifford. He really rallied these guys together for this road trip. I have no idea how this road trip is going to end. Is it going to end in a trade? I don't know. Trade deadline is literally a month away. I forgot how close it is, but at the same time, it feels so far away because we've only had one trade, and that was like the Noah Vonleh trade. So, former Charlotte Hornet, by the way. But anyway, that does it for this video. I just want to talk about how great the Charlotte Hornets looked. They really had Giannis frustrated. Get the Thanasis off the floor. I really like the Antetokounmpo brothers, all of them. Kostas was cool. I like Alex. The Thanasis, I actually thought he would be someone that could actually play at some point, but it just seems like he's more of a rah-rah guy. And also, it's just more so, I don't know, he plays so reckless. And I don't know, he's trying to be like the enforcer, and it's just like, go away. But it is what it is. I mean, Steve Clifford, when he saw that, he should have started pulling some starters, and he didn't. So that was kind of frustrating to see, is that you're so quick to pull people. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's hard to understand how he's so quick to pull people, but when he needs to pull people, he's very reluctant. I don't know. But anyway, once again, that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.